Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and the founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here with Cheri Martin to talk about her article in the November-December issue of On Purpose Woman magazine. Hey, Cheri, thanks for being here.
Hi, Jenny is happy to be here as always. I enjoy our conversations.
I'm sorry, my phone thing, I was talking to it and it was answering me. That is so bizarre. So if you heard that, anybody watching this, I'm sorry for that little intrusion there. So Cheri, before we have our conversation about your article, would you tell our viewers a little bit about you and your work?
Sure. Well, I'm a LinkedIn coach and trainer, social media strategist, and I've been in that online marketing arena now. Gosh, I'll be hitting 26 years next January that I first started getting involved in online networking and such. And the first company I had was with my husband, and we had a web design agency, did SEO, search engine optimization, as well as the social media started coming in, Facebook marketing, and then I got into social media management from probably 2010, and for over 10 years, did a lot of other people's social media, and I closed that large corporation down after my husband retired in 2022 and started my own LLC, my Social Visionary, which as a solopreneur, I'm now able to really do what I'm passionate about. And that is teaching LinkedIn, teaching relationship marketing, networking, online networking. And I really focus on, those relationship marketing strategies with my clients and how you can be more visible, credible, profitable, in your online networking, which to me is how I have been able to be successful. That's how I met you. That's how have met so many individuals in my circle, is through the network we do here online. And as I said, LinkedIn actually was the very first social platform I ever got on, other than, what was that one? There was a couple others that never really made it, but as far as what is still here today, LinkedIn, back in 2007, I created my first account and started teaching and helping my clients in 2008 set up their profiles. That's how long I've been doing it. And then it just kind of got into the mix of all the other social media, and the pandemic hit and people wanted to know more about how to continue networking, and online is the way to be, and LinkedIn is the platform to be on.
You're such a, I don't want to say pioneer, but you kind of are, aren't you? I mean, you were probably doing things on social media before I was even on social media. You were probably teaching and doing things for other people. I don't remember when I got on Facebook, but I resisted it for so long. I thought, that's just for kids. Why would I want to bother with all that? So one of my friends laughed because she'd try to get me on Facebook for a couple of years. And then when I got on, it's like I blew up. She went, "Oh my God, you're like the queen of Facebook." And it took me 2 years to get you to even take a look at it, because it is. I mean, I don't know what we'd be doing without those social media platforms. It would be really a lot more challenging.
I know. Can you imagine not have had those opportunities to stay connected over the course of those few years when we couldn't be with anybody in person? And I know myself, I was on LinkedIn and then Twitter and then Facebook. And the only reason I got on Facebook was my nieces said, "Aunt Cheri, you want to stay in touch with us and see pictures of our kids? They're all posted there." So that's how I got on Facebook as well.
I was telling someone in a chat yesterday that, I started the On Purpose Woman Global Community in 2000, and that was really before the internet.
Yes.
There wasn't that much going on. I might have had an account, but we weren't connecting on the internet. No. And imagine starting an organization and getting people to a meeting without sending email, right? I don't know how I did it.
Well, that's what I said. I think the two platforms I can think of now, they just came to my head. I think it's, when you get to a certain age, sometimes things just are there, but they're not coming out. But Plaxo was one that I was on before LinkedIn. It was very similar to what LinkedIn is. It was the very first professional one. And then MySpace.
Oh, MySpace. That always seemed kind of dark to me. I go on and poke around.
Social networking, not like what we're doing today.
Yeah. Well, you're writing a series of 3 articles on harnessing the power of LinkedIn for spiritual entrepreneurs. And the first one, which you can all find in the September-October issue, is on building a strong foundation on LinkedIn for your holistic business. And we talked about that article in a writer chat on October 25th. So you can find that also, those of you watching, on our YouTube channel. Let's look for October 25th date, and you'll find the last chat I had with Cheri about her previous article. And in this November-December article, you wrote on creating engaging content that resonates with your spiritual community. Before we start talking specifically about your article, would you please share why you're writing a series specifically for spiritual entrepreneurs?
Oh, of course. Well, I really got involved with the spiritual community when I became a member of On Purpose Women Global Community. And I have found that when you want to really tap into a market, you need to be able to understand the messaging so that you can reach those individuals. And the more I've had met the individual ladies in our community and have had conversations with them, I realized, I'm spiritual as well. I always have been. And I wanted to understand how I could communicate with them more and help them understand because they had a lot of questions. I just don't think LinkedIn is for me. I do woo-woo, it's kind of to talk, how can I really use LinkedIn? So I just started doing some research. I am a market researcher, and I just started really looking into how the spiritual and holistic individual could really get their message across to individuals using the platform. So I asked a lot of questions as well. Like, who is your ideal audience? And a lot of them, they're professional women. These are professional women that work, I don't know if they work in banks or offices of some sort, or, whatever. They're using LinkedIn and they're tapping into this spiritual and wellness community. They want to know more. So if you want to reach them and you want to be a speaker, because a lot of them said they wanted to have more speaking opportunities, whether it's podcasts or events, this is where that community is there. But you need to understand how to get your message across to them, as well as connecting with them. So I started doing the research on it, in putting in different ideas for this community. And that was really why this second article came out, was first you build your foundation, and now how do we message them? How do we communicate? So that's probably where, after exploring that strong foundation on LinkedIn and how to help you set you apart, you really need to make sure, again, that you're capturing the audience you want to connect with. You have to be able to capture their attention. And it's going to be a different message than I would use if I was trying to connect with a person that works at a human resource center or something. So I wanted to make sure, and plus the On Purpose Women Global Community Magazine that's the audience that reads this. And I wanted to deliver something that they could really take and use to their advantage and get a better experience on the LinkedIn platform.
Well, I really appreciate that you came up with this wonderful idea. And one of the things that you share in the article is that we need to be storytellers on LinkedIn. So what kind of storytelling and why does that matter?
Well, we all know, and no matter what type of business you're in, and people don't like to be sold to, but they love to be able to identify with you. And we know facts tell, stories sell. And so we want to make sure that when I talk about storytelling, it's really just sharing your experiences with your audience and letting them get to know you. Because that's how you build that know, like, and trust factor, is when you can be authentic, or as I like to say, be unapologetically you. It will really help them understand your journey, and then give them a better understanding of, wow, I can relate to that. Perhaps she can help me with my journey as well.
And you go into some really great detail about how we can create content that does just that. You write that to create content that resonates, we must intimately understand our audience, who they are, what challenges, pain points, or desires they have, what interests them. Once we know that, we can develop content that speaks to their concerns. We can craft compelling and value-driven content. Can you say more about what makes valuable, and what was the other word? Value-driven content. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you are, just think about how much content flows through us on a daily basis. It's popping in our inbox. It's on these social platforms. We read it, we see it on TV. We hear it on the radio. We see it on paper, whatever. we want to make sure that what we are communicating is going to reach the audience we want to actually have a deeper conversation with. So we have to focus when we're developing our content that we're writing for the audience and not for ourselves.
That's such a
In
great
other
point.
words, we have to understand them. What is it? That's why it kind of goes back into understanding who our ideal audience is. What are their pain points? What's keeping them up at night? What are they interested in? And so when you're developing content, you're actually developing the messaging that will reach them and get their attention. So they're going to want to have a more deeper conversation with you. And it's also, when I say value driven, think of how much content we probably get put in front of us that we either delete or we put it in a to-do box or get to, like on Facebook, when they first have introduced the save button and you save something, I get these messages from Facebook like, you got a lot of things saved there. It's like, I call it the to-do list that never gets to done.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that when we are putting content out there, taking that time and energy to deliver, it is that when it is delivered, it will be read and it will start a deeper conversation.
I heard you say this, I believe, when you spoke for the On Purpose on the Global Community. I don't remember if it's in your article, but you give a formula
Oh,
of
yes.
content and how much of it should be sales driven, how much of it should be information or educationally driven or inspirational, I guess. Could you share that with us?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, it is. I call it the 50-30-20 formula. And when you think of the content, when you balance it out a little bit, you're going to be able to have your audience understand you're not going to continually always be selling to them, because how many of us constantly see stuff in front of us selling. So the greater portion, that 50% of content that you actually create and share with your community, should be what I call interesting and entertaining. And on LinkedIn, of course, it's a little different. We're not putting those fun baby YouTube videos out there or anything, but when I mean entertaining, something that's going to be feel good when somebody reads it. It can be a video, it can be a meme, it can be just a little message, or a story. And those are entertaining and they're interesting. The 30% is informational and resourceful. And in other words, you could actually take I read a lot of articles. I have a lot of subscriptions to different newsletters. And I always tell my audience, you don't have to subscribe to those, because I'm going to make sure if there's something that I feel that would be worth reading for you, I'm going to share it with you. So that's being resourceful. And now people build that trust, like, you know what? Cheri knows, or Ginny knows, because I know that she's staying on top of that, and I don't have to take the time or the energy to do that. And so that gets them to want to follow you more and pay more attention to what you're putting out there. And it's also giving you permission to share other content, not have to always create it. Just make sure that you don't take credit for something you didn't create. But I just feel that is just so vital. That's the 30%. And informational, that could be, what are some of those frequently asked questions that you're constantly being asked? You could put some educational content out there about that and helping them. And again, that's a valuable type of piece of content, and yet it's still educational and give them a little bit more insight, and maybe perhaps answer a question that they had. And then that 20% can be promotional. Yes, we know that we have the opportunity to put our promotions out there in front of our audience online and LinkedIn. However, we want to be mindful, and I call it the art of unselling. My husband kind of tagged that and used that a lot of times. In other words, when you're being promotional, that's when you can really be more compelling to put information out about what's happening within your business, maybe some trends, or if you do have an upcoming event, maybe instead of just saying, hey, buy me, give a compelling reason what would gather their interest about, maybe bring in a testimonial. That's promotional for you, but somebody else is sharing why you, instead of you sharing why you. So that's kind of that promotional. Be really mindful of the type of promotional stuff. But yeah, it's okay to put out events, and if you, like right now, I have a product that I'm offering, so I want to get that shared, but I also want to make sure I'm giving them valuable information along with that, and why this would be beneficial for them.
It sounds like what you're saying is that we can kind of train people when we're giving them valuable content. We train them to see a post and want to open it because there might be something good in there for them, rather than
Oh,
just, oh, she's going to send me one of those pages where you got to go down 50 different pages and click on 14 different things. They keep trying to sell me every 3 lines. That can get kind of annoying. But we've given them a reason. We've trained them, I guess, is the only way I know to put it, to
you want to incite them to want to open it, gain their
cite them. There you
attention.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really give them, well, I want to, tell me more.
Mhm.
That's kind of, and I think that 50-30-20 rule, it's always been I call it a rule or a formula. To me, it's always helped me to think, get a pattern going when I'm putting content together, to make sure, because we don't have to post as much as we used to. I mean, LinkedIn, I mean, some of my clients have had some amazing successes just by posting one time a week, but they're posting the same time every week. They're consistent. And so their audience is expecting that. And they capture their attention that they can't wait till the next time that they post.
Well, you took me into my next question. It was going to be
Oh.
about consistency. You say that consistent posting is important. Is there a
Mhm.
rule of thumb for how often? Is it more important to do it on a regular basis than on like how many? I don't even know the word to use. And how often we do it? Is that more important, or is it more important to do it regularly, I guess?
Well, to me, consistency and regularly is pretty much the same because
Yeah.
you're going to be doing it. The one thing, and when we're talking about LinkedIn, you have to be very, very mindful that you do not want to post more than one time a day. You don't want to post until at least an 18 to 24-hour window again after you've posted. And that's the way the algorithm on these platforms, we have to understand them because they're the ones that are in control of who sees and how much of our content is going to be visible with our
Why
connections.
is that? Does LinkedIn kind of punish us if we post more than once every 24 hours or so?
They do. They
Oh,
do
okay.
not. They will not show it again. The reason being, they want your content to actually have a chance to be seen and have some engagement going.
Okay.
And because the more when you post a piece of content out there, how it is determined whether someone is going to see more of your content is if they actually take action on it.
Mm.
Once you've taken action on LinkedIn, then you'll see more of that type of content. And it doesn't mean just clicking a reaction. It means actually posting, commenting. And I will say, and so once a day, no more than that. But during the week, understanding LinkedIn being the professional platform, you don't even have to really think about the weekend posting. You can schedule stuff, of course, on there if there's something that you want to make sure your weekend audience sees, but you have to understand your audience, knowing when they are going to be on. If you have an audience that is from the East Coast to the West Coast, you want to make sure you vary up the times that you post when you do post, because you want to make sure that your East Coast audience sees something and then your West Coast and then those in between. So if you always posted in your time frame, and I'm on the East Coast, chances are those in the middle of the country or the West Coast may not see it. Those that have European customers have to know those time zones as well. So understanding your audience and then posting that one time a day. But also, like I said, I have clients that only post one time a week. You don't have to post every single day. Best practice is 3 times a week during the week. But one time will get you the audience that you're looking for and get you results. And that's just been proven by some of my clients that do that. But as far as understanding also, that doesn't say post once and then forget the platform. It means post and now take the remaining time and energy to start reading your connections posts that are coming in your news feed and posting and commenting on theirs. And if you choose to share something, make sure you put a thought on that. Don't just share without putting your own take on something or a thought about it. That's how you, again, get picked up by those search engines even more regularly and get more visibility because you're taking the time to engage with others. That's going to help you gain a greater reach than if you only post. So keeping those things in mind.
Okay, I think you've made so many great points there because one of the reasons for me, I know one of the reasons I kind of shied away from LinkedIn was just, which is another one of those things I've got to be on it all the time. So you're saying it's definitely better to do it one day a week than not at all.
Exactly.
And
And
there can be great value in doing it one day a week.
exactly. And one of the best practices I do is I focus in the morning. I'm on LinkedIn before any of the other platforms, and I will check my messages. I'll check notifications. And so when you come on, you always want to check your notifications, because if you have posted and someone has commented, you're going to be notified of that. And that gives you the opportunity to go in and respond to someone posting on your post. If you have posted on one of your connections or an influencer in your industry that you follow, and others are posting on that, you're going to get those notifications that there's engaging content going on that thread, and it gives you the opportunity to go in again and have conversations, because that's what you're doing. You're engaging, you're having a conversation because of the content that either you post or someone within your network has posted.
Mhm.
That's how you develop the relationships. That is how you stay in front of others and you're seen by others that may not be in your network, and helps you to, again, it's not hacking and it's not tricking the algorithm. It's helping the algorithm understand that you are active and you are interested in what others have to say.
A little aside question here that I didn't know I was going to ask. Your experience with LinkedIn, have they changed do they go in and change the algorithms as much as Facebook does?
Over the past few years, yes, they have. I will say understanding the algorithm in LinkedIn has been a little easier. I don't understand it at all on Facebook anymore. It's just like I think I mentioned to you, I'm still active on Facebook. I'm not training on Facebook or doing any Facebook ads or anything like that. I am involved in communities. And so Facebook still has an amazing, their groups right now, their communities, they're beneficial. But I don't know, there's just something about the algorithm on Facebook. With LinkedIn, what I love about it is that they give you the explanation. There's ways that you can find out more about the algorithm and how it is, what it's doing currently, what has changed. You can stay on top of it. They're very good at informing you. There are also some individuals that are constantly, that's all they do is study the algorithm, and then they put content out there. So I do this so that my clients don't have to. I follow some of these mentors and gather the information, and then I provide them the information. So staying on top of it is important. So find a resource that you can learn from that will help you to understand it better.
Okay. We don't have to do it all ourselves.
Yeah, we're solopreneurs.
We even try to do it all ourselves, right?
Up on our plate. Yes, exactly. So, and I really do enjoy LinkedIn. I've never, as I said, this is the first platform that I actually started teaching my clients to use. And then you get caught up in everything else. And I always say, master one platform. You don't have to be everywhere. You may want to, if there's a few that you want to be on, if you're just getting started, especially grab your name on the platform, so you don't lose that, because you want the consistency of your brand on them. But find the platform that works for you. And if you don't ever communicate on any of the others again, if you're getting the business and growing your business and building the relationships on a platform that is working for you, that's all you have to really be on.
There's been this kind of joke question around, what's the best diet? The one you'll use, or what's the best exercise, the one you'll do. It sounds like you're saying, what's the best social media platform, the one you'll actually do all these things we're talking about on, right? And be consistent and post the relevant content and all of that. So,
and your audience, and you're reaching your audience.
Yeah.
It has to be, is your audience there?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's really important too, to know if our audience is there. Yeah.
And that's exactly, again, going back to the first question you asked me, is what made me want to write these articles. I wanted to let my friends know that this is a platform that your audience is there. Mm-hmm. As long as you have clarity in who your ideal client is, or like say your soul connection, then you can definitely achieve results. But you have to work this. You have to work it. You don't just put your platform up there and leave it and then forget it. Because that was something you asked about, the consistency with the algorithms. You can be very consistent on a regular basis. And this is an example for myself. The week of Thanksgiving, and then after the week after Thanksgiving, I caught a cold. I wasn't as active. My analytics dropped from these big red numbers or big green numbers down to red numbers. I mean, it was just like just that fast because I wasn't doing the activity that I regularly do. Well, what happens with the algorithm on LinkedIn is that if you do this often, they'll stop sharing your information, even though you start becoming active again, if you're on again, off again.
Oh, okay.
So if you take a little break, it's okay. But, like with the holidays coming up, I'm not, when we're with family and we are having celebrations, you're not going to be as active. You can schedule things, but you're not going to be as active as communicating. So just keep those things in mind, that if you take a little break for whatever reason, get back on fast to get the momentum going again.
That's so important, Cheri. Thank you for sharing that. And for anyone watching, Cheri goes into way more details in her article, and you can find that at opwgc.com/magazine. The link is also in the text of this video. And you can find Cheri's first article in the series of the magazine in the archives on the site. So once you get on the magazine, over on the right, it says archives, and it's from the September-October issue. So Cheri, how can our viewers find out more about you?
Well, they can always connect with me on LinkedIn, and just go into linkedin.com and put in my name in the search. It's Cheri with a C, Cheri Martin. From there, you can get to all my other places, but my website is socialvisionary.com. And I do have a Facebook community as well. If you are active on Facebook, I have a level up your LinkedIn to stand out. And that's what you would just put in the search bar, level up your LinkedIn to stand out. And it'll bring up, if you search for groups, and it'll pop up, and highly recommend that you come there. It's just kind of there to, if you have questions, and to support you with, your LinkedIn activity and such. And those are the best places. I do have with it being a brand new year, a lot of us know when I talk about content, we have to have content. And, sometimes that's one of the hardest things for us to do, is develop content. So I actually just created a 2024 social media calendar bundle that includes a year's worth of strategic content ideas, viral video and caption hooks, as well as some high converting call to action formulas, because we always want to make sure that we're helping those that are connecting with us to take action. And sometimes they don't know what to do if we don't share them. So those call to action formulas are so valuable. And within this bundle, I'm also doing a interactive workshop on January 4th. And so I'll give Ginny the information. She'll put that here in the thread of our video here today, that you can actually go, and there's a certain code you can use. It's my birthday month, so I'm giving you this whole bundle for only $29. So I just want to see you successful. So I'm excited about this.
Let me get this, make sure I'm right about this, Cheri. $29 for a full year content calendar with all kinds of ideas that we can use, and ideas that we can sort of shift for our own individual businesses. They apply to all businesses, and then we can tailor make them a little bit more for us, but just great ideas on what we can be doing, and a workshop for $29.
Yes. And the workshop will actually use, of course, the great AI tool to show how you can actually make sure that you're developing this content to reach your ideal audience. To get the message out to them. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. I love chatting with you.
I do too. And I'm going to leave our audience with your final word of wisdom here. It may be something that you said that you just think is important enough to say again, or something brand new. What do you have?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think I shared, about the importance of making sure your messaging is for your audience. So write for your audience, not for you. And I don't know if I mentioned it today. I shared a lot when I do share topics, but the whole purpose of us building these relationships and focusing on the relationships, the networking, is we want to be known before we are needed. And that's what better way than having conversations and providing value.
So when somebody has that need or their friend has a need that they mention, you're front and center. You're the person they think of. Well, you know, Cheri Martin, I see her a lot on LinkedIn, and I don't really know her, but I think you might want to get in touch with her. So we all want that, don't we? We all want that. So Cheri, thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much. And I want to thank anyone who's watching the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show. For more information on the On Purpose Women Global Community and magazine, please click on the links in this video. And again, thanks for watching.